We were talking about, Deepthi, because you haven't been here, the mad elephant offense. Do you know what that is? The worst offense you can make of any type of offense. The worst non-offense, everything. Do you know what it is? No? Vaishnava Aparad, yes. It's the worst thing we can do. And I have actually a practical example I can share with you in our life, that our neighbor one morning, he decided to come over here as the snow was melting and icicles were coming off the roof, and they were, large icicles were falling from our house and going into his driveway. So he decided he would come over here very angrily one morning during Bhagavatam class, and he knocks on the door. And then Madhav answers like this, and Dhoti, and they start screaming. He starts screaming at Madhav, and he says, "Get your clothes on! Why don't you get some clothes on? And then get over here and clean this crap out of my yard, out of my driveway." And so me and Madhav, we ended the Bhagavatam class on that note, and then we went over there and we cleaned it. We didn't talk to him, but it was very rude and uncalled for, And Madhav's trying to be a devotee in this world, so it's not a good idea that you blaspheme a devotee. But anyway, my wife can tell you. But apparently, he's been limping around lately, and he somehow got hurt actually. So I'm not laughing. We don't want him to get hurt, but at the same time, also we should know that when we offend Vaishnavas, and I'm practically seeing our neighbor, and this is the second time he's gotten hurt. And the first time he got hurt was when he tried to complain to the city about an add-on Keshava Gopal did on the house, where our laundry room is now. And so he tried to sneakily do that, and then all of a sudden Krishna does the same thing again, but now he offends Madhav and me and Craig, and so now Krishna's giving him a rough time. So this is actually practical proof in our lives, so we can all witness and see as he's hobbling around now. Do not offend Vaishnavas. Krishna will not be happy with this. So,
does this sound like limping or something?
Yeah. I guess my wife's seeing him like...
No, I don't know, I kind of know his schedule, because he's always there, and he's always with his snowblower, but one of the neighbor across was shoveling, and I was like, that's kind of weird, that they would, I was like, maybe he's not home and he went somewhere. And then right away I was like, no, I think something happened. And then I saw someone come deliver food, one of his friends, and I was like, that's also weird, I haven't seen him. And then last night I was sitting in here and I saw him coming down the stairs, really slow, like he did months ago when he had some injury or whatever. And I was like, oh my God. That's what I thought, but I didn't.
Don't offend. So this is very relevant, because we're going to see Parikshit's going to get cursed to die because of this offense. And we ourselves have to be very careful. In other news, I'm very happy that we all sang very nicely, because we have some Airbnb guests who are, just making some very lewd and very inappropriate sounds, all throughout the day and night, and just the most grotesque type of things. Me and Deepthi are here just...
Why would they do just to annoy you?
I hope not, but I just think they're more, traversing the lower modes of nature and, seeking enjoyment in very lewd, grotesque ways. And so then anyone else who has to hear that is going to be a little appalled. So anyway, I'm very in the master bedroom, but you're just hearing, animal noises, just complete. It's disgusting. But anyhow, I feel horrible for Deepthi because she's suffered in sleep and she didn't let us know, these past few days that such animalistic things are happening. But anyway, it's just a good reminder also that these activities are really filthy, actually. This is,
Some devotees were starting a new temple, and they had to sleep on the floor in Mumbai. I think Ranna Swami was saying, and they would wrap their feet and face up because rats would crawl across them in the night. But it was just the reality of the tapasya they had to do to start the temple, because
they fall sick also because of that.
Yeah.
But still they continue.
So anyway, if anyone knows any devotees who'd like to come and live here, instead of us having Airbnb guests who just do just don't have the clear consciousness. Anyhow.
Well, you've had a mix of guests.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've had a mix. I've never heard anything like that though. This morning when I heard. Yeah, we were just sitting here chanting like right before you got here, and I was just appalled. Dipti had complained already to my wife, and I didn't get to hear it yet, so I said, okay, like this is not good. But I was thinking it was more, maybe like, a little inappropriate. But it was just, when I was down here and hearing, I was just, that's like so inappropriate. I just can't even believe that. So anyhow, I'm so sorry, Deepthi, that you had to hear such inappropriate at the Krishna temple. But I really wish we had a better way to fund our, existence here. But anyhow, Apiram, what are you doing? So these are the two pieces of news that we have here. That the neighbor got hurt from Vaishnava Aparad, and we really needed to purify the atmosphere here today. So I'm glad we got to do a full group singing.
Oh, you were like laughing during the kirtan?
What?
You were like, oh no, at one point during the kirtan, so you just kind of started laughing.
I mean, I don't know if I was laughing, but I was trying extra hard to purify the atmosphere because it was, it's hard.
Are they gone now?
Nope, they're up there, and I can't wait till they leave. But they're up
You're
there.
gonna say something.
No, I'm not going to say anything to their face. I'm just going to write. You just save that review for me. Because they have a special review coming from me. That's very, very inappropriate, and I would like it that at least they never do that here again. Anyhow.
No, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, nice.
Well, Christian's always testing.
Yeah, the material world is
It's
just.
testing.
Yeah, it's material world is
That's what
this.
I
He's
Just
testing our tolerance and our...
yeah, the Kala Mashashvatam. It's just like a place of miseries at every step. So anyhow, let's chant our Mangala Charna. Come on if you want.
Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Dhammadakamalam Shri Guru Rupam Sagujatam Saguna Raghunath Amritam Tam Sajivam Sarvikam Sajitam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Jagannath Krishna Karitamscha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapte Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhani Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanshikapatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaisnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaur Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaur Hare Kucharine Namaste Sasunivari Pasutari Sutarine.
Aliyam has like a very deep affection for the harmonium. So it's like, it could be troubling. So anyhow, yeah, interesting. But if we hear anything inappropriate, I'll actually quickly run up there and I'll bang on the door and just be like, unacceptable, at this point. But right now we've tolerated, but we don't.
There's more than just like sounds, like we're like talking and stuff.
Well, they were loud and talking before, but I don't care about that. But no, it's just like the very lewd sounds. That's the, you know, yeah.
Or having intercourse or something?
I'm assuming what sounds like that it must be. It's just, yeah, it's disgusting actually. But if we hear that type of thing, I will immediately go up there and, you know, try to stop that. At least tell them to shut up. So anyhow, Krishna Gate Bhagavati
Krishna Gite Bhagavati
Shastar Yutpatagaminam
Sarupata Gamina
Tadbina Setunadyahang
Tadbina Setunadyam
Shasmi Pashyata Me Balam.
Pashyata Me Balam.
My life is very interesting. Krishna,
Krishna
Lord Krishna,
Lord
Gate, having departed from this world.
having departed from this
Bhagavati, the personality of Godhead. Shastari, the supreme ruler. Utpatha Gamina, Utpatha Gaminam, of those who are upstarts. Tat Bina. We did this one yesterday. Remember, Shringi was talking. Remember,
Yeah.
he was belittling Maharaj Parikshit because of his caste, and he was saying, "You're like the dogs and the crows, and how could you, as a dog, think you should eat off the same plate and receive any treatment at all from my Brahmin father?" Even though he should have gotten proper treatment, but also Maharaj Parikshit probably shouldn't have garlanded him with a snake. So it's going to be offense on both sides, but especially now Shringi is going to perform the second offense. It's also one of the reasons we don't want to start any offenses with anybody, because retaliation comes. You know, when you offend someone else, you know, if you can't control yourself, the next thing you know, their retaliation will also come, because it's likely they can't control themselves.
Even
And
to the extent we have to come back in the next life and
yeah, you might
get
have.
retribution.
Yeah, you might have to deal with this lifetime after lifetime with this personality. Who knows? Even a lot of times we have family members, we have relatives, things that we've been dealing with stuff with them lifetime after lifetime, and having to come back and sort some things out, some karma out. So this is very, very important that we don't, we tolerate. We become very humble and tolerant and respectful of all others, and try to be prideless, or we're just guaranteed to come back and try to, you know,
We want to stop
sort
the
of.
cycle.
Yes, stop this vicious cycle of just karma and birth, death, and old age, disease, death. So anyhow, Shringi is not, you know, as a young Brahmin boy and too proud. He's not ready to do that, and now he's ready to. What he says in this verse, he's like, after the departure of Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, the supreme ruler of everyone, these upstarts have flourished, our protector being gone. Therefore I myself shall take up this matter and punish them. Just witness my power. We should never do like this. Never think, oh yes. Shringi is Shamika Rishi's son. So he's the sage who was meditating, and Maharaj Parikshit went to his home hungry and thirsty. And because he was deep in meditation, he did not realize that Maharaj Parikshit was there. Maharaj Parikshit was very disturbed that, you know, a guest would come to a sage's home and he would treat him so poorly and he wouldn't give him any drink or anything. He was very thirsty too, and he was hoping that the sage would help him. But anyhow, and he didn't due to his preoccupation. So anyway, now Shringi, and he garlanded him with a snake, a dead snake on the ground. But Shringi is now very disturbed by that, and now he's about to have retribution. But he's going, you know, to now try to take. He's acknowledging that when Krishna was here, no one would dare do such things. But now that he's gone, therefore I myself have to take up this matter. You know, I'm the doer. I'm, you know, let me handle this. You know, that we should never do like this. That there is maybe a time where you yourself are called to act, you know, for the benefit of Krishna and the devotees, but to, you know, think that you're the punishing agent of Krishna, and like this, this is very dangerous, you know. So Shringi is doing like this, and then what will happen is this verse. Ityuktva roshatam raksho
Ityuktva roshatam raksho
Vayasyan rishi balaka
Yasyan rishi balaka
Koshikyapa upasprishya
Shikyapa upasprishya
Vagvadrang visasarjaha
Vajram vishasarjaha
Iti. Thus, Uktva, saying, Roshatamra Aksha,
Roshatamra aksha
with red hot eyes due to being angry.
with red hot
With red hot
eyes
eyes due to being angry.
Vayasyan,
Vayasya
unto the playmates, Rishi Balaka,
Rishi balaka
the son of a rishi,
the son of
Koshiki, the river Koshika, Apaha, water, Upasprishya,
Upasprishya
by touching,
by touching
Vak, words, Vajram, thunderbolt,
thunderbolt
Visasarja, through, Ha, in the past.
In the past.
Yes. David, I'm just reminding you that we should probably have the kitchery up here for it.
Brought it up, but I need to shower, so I didn't want to.
Okay. No, do that later. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure she remembered. So the son of the rishi, his eyes red hot with anger, touched the water of the river Kaushik while speaking. Oh, Kaushik. The river Kaushik while speaking to his playmates, and discharged the following thunderbolts of words. So before chanting mantras, a Brahmin will touch water to purify himself for the activity. So, but now also a Brahmin should always speak the truth, because whatever they speak will come into existence. That's one of the qualities of a Brahmin. So, what makes one a Brahmin is they're always honest in their words, and then by that Brahma Tejas, all their words will always come true. So, this is also a thing. So anyhow. That's why we also touch water, we purify ourselves, and then we grab our threads and then we chant these. There's Gayatri mantras, and 7 Gayatri mantras that take us through a progression of the journey of consciousness towards the highest service in Krishna consciousness. And so, I can't explicitly tell you because they are secret, but this is one of the techniques the Brahmin does, is he touches water and then he'll grab his Brahmin thread, and then, I've seen it very inappropriately used. We had a fight one time with 2 devotees here, and one devotee punched another devotee out on Harinam. It was it was crazy, stupid thing, a very crazy, stupid thing, but only, it was just an immature lapse of judgment by two devotees who got a little, carried away. And then, but what happened is that the other devotee was so offended, and he didn't get a chance to beat him back, which he wanted to do, but we broke it up by that point, that he grabbed his Brahmin thread and demanded that this other devotee apologize. But this other devotee refused to apologize, and the next thing you know, he cursed him. I forget what the curse he gave him. He cursed him, and then he broke the Brahmin thread. And then he threw it down. And I remember, his Brahmin thread. Because that's actually what you would do if you were to curse someone, and you'd be like, take it back. He said, take it back. And then the person did not take it back, or the devotee did not take it back. And then he said, I curse this upon you. And then he ripped it off and broke it. And that's kind of what Shringi is about to do, to Maharaj Parikshit. And I witnessed another devotee do it, and actually we were all very disturbed after that. And Piyush was so disturbed to watch that, because he's an Indian. He's from Prayag, has good Brahminical culture. He knows it. It's just to see the whole thing was really disturbing. But especially the breaking of the Brahmin thread. He was just he could not handle it, But anyhow, this, when one does such a thing, you're taking your Brahma Tejas or your austerities and you're directing it into this result, And so it'll be very bad. Yes, and Brahmins are supposed to be very forgiving for this reason, because if they don't, they can really harm someone with their intentions. Because the purity of their actions will cause ruin to those who do something against them. So anyway, Maharaj Parikshit, he got caught on the other side of a Brahmin's anger, and now you're going to see what happens to him. So he touched the water, and while speaking to his playmates, and discharged the following thunderbolt of words. Purport: the circumstances under which Maharaj Parikshit was cursed were simply childish, as it appears from this verse. It's literally a Brahmin child. Shringi was showing his impudency amongst his playmates, who were innocent. Any sane man would have prevented him from doing such great harm to all human society. By killing a king like Maharaj Parikshit just to make a show of acquired Brahminical power, the inexperienced son of a Brahmin committed a great mistake. So also, Shringi is riled up around his friends and trying to show off in front of his friends, and this pride is a huge problem. And you're going to see Kali Yuga gets to start practically off of this activity, what he's about to do. So, iti langita maryadang takshaka saptamehani dangshyati sma kulangarang chodito me tatadruham. Iti, thus, langita, surpassing, maryadam, etiquette, takshaka, snakebird, saptame, on the 7th, ahani, day, dangshyati, will bite, sma, certainly, kula angaram, the wretched of the dynasty, chodita, having done, me, my, tatadruham, enmity towards the father. The Brahmin's son cursed the king thus: on the 7th day from today, a snake bird will bite the most wretched one of that dynasty, Maharaj Parikshit, because of his having broken the laws of etiquette by insulting my father. So also we should know Takshak is a very famous snake bird. Actually, did you get it up? Is it here? There's Takshak. You see him right there. He's a very famous, you could say, snake bird in the Vedic lore of, he has different pastimes and different interactions with the demigods and so on. But Shringi summoned this snake bird to come and bite Maharaj Parikshit on the 7th day and causing his death. So, purport. Thus the beginning of the misuse of Brahminical power began, and gradually the Brahmins in the age of Kali became devoid of both Brahminical powers and culture. The Brahmin boy considered Maharaj Parikshit to be Kulangara, or the wretched of the dynasty. But factually the Brahmin boy himself was so, because only from him did the Brahmin caste become powerless, like the snake whose poisoned teeth are broken. The snake is fearful as long as his poisoned teeth are there. Otherwise he is fearful only to children. The personality of Kali conquered the Brahmin boy first and gradually the other castes. Thus the whole scientific system of the orders of society in this age has assumed the form of a vitiated, or like a spoiled, ruined caste system, which is now being uprooted by another class of men, similarly influenced by the age of Kali. One should see to the root cause of vitiation, or this spoiling, and not try to condemn the system as it is, without knowledge of its scientific value. So he's actually talking about here how the caste system is being uprooted by another class of men similarly influenced by the age of Kali. That's our class, the Western men. And we're uprooting the caste system. Like I was taught in history that why India was so primitive, my history class, no offense, but the Western is teaching why India was so-called so primitive due to their belief in this caste system. But actually, if you look at the scientific value of the caste system, it works very nicely if it's followed purely. But this is actually the beginning of the perversion of the caste system, where the Brahmin is trying to take actually punishing is done by the Kshatriyas. That's the Kshatriya's duty, is to punish others. So actually, Shringi should have never, there are times where Brahmins curse others who are, but Shringi as a young boy overreacted and acted very inappropriately. We should always, if we're going to act, we shouldn't act out of emotion. We should always consult with the sadhus, the Shastra, and our Guru if possible. But at least Vaishnava and Shastra, is this a good idea? Or am I just acting on my whims, my suruchi, is this a good idea? Especially big decisions. You know, you make a big decision. Should I do? But anyhow, he did not, and he cursed the emperor of the world to die in 7 days, which it's going to have long-lasting and actually a whole age-lasting consequences. And so, but anyhow, this is Krishna's arrangement. You know, Krishna has a plan here, and the Kali Yuga must go on. Actually, so it's got to get spoiled somehow. So Shringi is the unfortunate personality who became infamous for the spoiling, and Maharaj Parikshit, he is going to also, manifest, actually the most beautiful thing ever. And this Srimad, which is this beautiful Bhagavatam, is actually going to come from this. So, let's read at least this one. Tato byet yashramang balo Gale sarpa kalevaram Pitarang vikshadu karto Mukta kanto rurodaha Tata, thereafter, abhyetya, after entering into ashramam, the hermitage, bala, boy, gale sarpa, the snake on the shoulder, kalevaram, body, pitaram, unto the father, viksha, having seen, dukkha arta, in a sorry plight, mukta kantha, loudly, ruroda, cried, ha, in the past. Thereafter, when the boy returned to the hermitage, he saw a snake on his father's shoulder, and out of his grief he cried very loudly. The boy was not happy because he committed a great mistake, and he wanted to be relieved of the burden on his heart by crying. So after entering the hermitage and seeing his father in that condition, he cried loudly so that he might be relieved. But it was too late. The father regretted the whole incident. So also, if we want to, act on behalf of someone else, if David comes over here and he yells at Madhav, and then I said, Madhav, what happened? And he yelled at me, and I said, that's it. I'm going to go over there and break his legs, And Madhav is just like, please don't do that, But I go over there and break his legs. It's, it's improper. So I should check. Well, what do you think's appropriate, Madhav?
Just break one leg.
Yeah, but now it looks like Krishna broke his legs anyway, or something happened, or he's hobbling around or something. But yeah, you don't that's another example. Let Krishna handle. Krishna has the ability to handle everything. But we shouldn't also allow Vaishnava aparad to happen in front of us. We should stop it. So anyhow, but you're going to see the father actually is going to find Shringi's actions to be completely inappropriate of a Brahmin who's supposed to be tolerant and forgiving. So, Sava Angita So Brahman Shrutva Sutta Vilapanam Unmilya Shanaker Netre Drishtva Changshe Mritoragam Sahahi Vai, also Angirasa, the rishi born in the family of Angira. Brahman, O Shanak, Shrutva, on hearing, Sutta, his son, Vilapanam, crying in distress. Unmilya, opening. Here we chant like Unmilitam Yena, right? The opening of the eyes. Yes, Unmilya, opening. Shanakai, gradually. Netre, by the eyes. Drishtva, by seeing. Cha, also. Angshe, on the shoulder. Mrita, dead. Uragam, snake. O Brahmins, the rishi who was born in the family of Angira Muni, hearing his son crying, gradually opened his eyes and saw the dead snake around his neck. So, Shamika Rishi was just like oblivious in meditation, But hearing his son, it pulled him out of his meditation. Visrijya tangcha papracha
Srishyatam cha papracha.
Vatsakasmadi rodashi
Sakasmadi rodashi.
Kenavate pakritam
Kenavate pakritam.
Kenavate pakritam. Okay. Ityukta nyvedaya
Ityukta sanva vidaya.
Visrijya, throwing aside.
Throwing aside.
Raghunath Das Goswami, he recommends we throw aside. He says, asad varta vesha visraja. Throw aside the prostitute of mundane talks of prajalpa. So, visraja tam, that, cha, also, papracha, asked, vatsa, my dear son, kasmat, what for? He, certainly, rodashi, crying, kena, by whom? Va, otherwise. Te, they. Apakritam, misbehaved. Iti, thus. Ukta, being asked. Saha, the boy. Nyavedaya, informed of everything. He threw the dead snake aside and asked his son why he was crying, whether anyone had done him harm. On hearing this, the son explained to him what had happened. The father did not take the dead snake on his neck very seriously. He simply threw it away. Actually, there was nothing seriously wrong in Maharaj Parikshit's act, but the foolish son took it very seriously, and being influenced by Kali, he cursed the king and thus ended a chapter of happy history. Prabhupada's heavy with this young boy.
So I had a question.
Yes.
Was it appropriate for Maharaj Parikshit to act like that?
No, it was not.
Not either.
It wasn't. It wasn't a very serious offense, but it wasn't good activity, which is why he got the result he got. But at the same time, Maharaj Parikshit's a pure devotee, and that this was Krishna's arrangement for many reasons, to teach us not to get involved in such tit-for-tat exchanges in this material world. And then also, Krishna had a plan that he wanted to bring Maharaj Parikshit back to Godhead. So this was the expedited way that Maharaj Parikshit could go back to Godhead. So he got in this, what seems like a mess, but actually the Srimad Bhagavatam is going to come, and everything he's going to have for 7 days, is going to be there for him to get the highest thing. Way better than, staying and ruling the earth for another 10,000 years or whatever he could have done. But yeah, he acted from a teaching standpoint and a learning standpoint. For us, he acted inappropriately. If a sage neglects us, we shouldn't try to take retribution on the sage, even if it's a small thing. I mean, garlanding someone with a dead snake seems like a medium offense to me. It's not like so small, but it's not like very heavy, but at the same time, cursing someone to die, that's very heavy. That's like if our friend, when he cursed this other person if he cursed him to die, we would all went nuts. How could you have done like that? But he didn't do that. I forget what he did, but it wasn't like that. Do you remember what the curse was? I don't remember. I don't remember either.
Something to do with spiritual life, but I don't remember.
Yeah. But anyhow, cursing someone to die, that's serious. You don't do that, It's a very great misuse of Brahminical power. Unless that person is greatly sinful, like there is a time in the Bhagavatam where there's a King Vena, and King Vena was so treacherous that all the Brahmins tried to warn him multiple times and tried to consult him on the proper path multiple times, but he became so treacherous that they all actually got together and decided we have to curse him to die. So then they killed him with their Brahma Tejas. But from that, actually, Prithvi Maharaj was born. But it's a rare circumstance that it's a good idea for all the Brahmins to get together and hope for someone's death and curse them to die. So anyhow, let's read this one last verse at least. Yes, we'll finish here. Nisham yashaptam atadarham. No. Nisham yashaptam atadarham narendram.
Nishamya Saptam Atat Arham Narendram
Sabrahmano Natmajam Abhyananda
Sabrahmano Natmajam Abhyayanda
Aho Batang Ho Mahadadyate Kritam
Aho Batang Ho Mahad Adate Kritam
Alpi Yasidroha Uru Damodrita.
Alpi Yasidoha Uru Damodrita.
Okay. Nishamya, after hearing. Shaptam, cursed. Atat Arham, never to be condemned. Nara Indram, unto the king, best of humankind. Saha, that. Brahmana, Brahman Rishi. Na, not. Atmajam, his own son. Abhyananda, congratulated. Aho, alas. Bata, distressing. Amha, or Angha, sins. Mahat, great. Adya, today. Te, yourself. Kritam, performed. Alpiyasi, insignificant. Drohe, offense. Uru, very great. Dhamma, punishment. Drita, awarded. The father heard from his son that the king had been cursed, although he should never have been condemned, for he was the best amongst all human beings. The rishi did not congratulate his son, but on the contrary began to repent, saying, Alas, what a great sinful act was performed by my son. He is awarded heavy punishment for an insignificant offense. So if there is going to be punishment, there may have to be some punishment meted out to someone, but it should be in proportion to the offense. You don't, for a very small offense, you don't give heavy punishment. So anyhow, this is what Shringi did. The king is the best of all human beings. He is the representative of God, and he is never to be condemned for any of his actions. In other words, the king can do no wrong. The king may order hanging of a culprit son of a Brahmin, but he does not become sinful for killing a Brahmin. Even if there is something wrong with the king, he is never to be condemned. A medical practitioner may kill a patient by mistaken treatment, but such a killer is never condemned to death. So what to speak of a good and pious king like Maharaj Parikshit? In the Vedic way of life, the king is trained to become a Rajarishi, or a great saint, although he is ruling as king. It is the king only by whose good government the citizens can live peacefully and without any fear. The Rajarishis would manage their kingdom so nicely and piously that their subjects would respect them as if they were the Lord. That is the instruction of the Vedas. The king is called Narendra, or the best among the human beings. How then could a king like Maharaj Parikshit be condemned by an inexperienced, puffed-up son of a Brahmin, even though he had attained the powers of a qualified Brahmin? Since Shamika Rishi was an experienced good Brahmin, he did not approve of the actions of his condemned son. He began to lament for all that his son had done. The king was beyond the jurisdiction of curses as a general rule, and what to speak of a good king like Maharaj Parikshit? The offense of the king was most insignificant, and his being condemned to death was certainly a very great sin for Shringi. Therefore, Rishi Shamika regretted the whole incident. So, Prabhupada is talking a lot here, how, what kings are expected to do, and they're trained to actually be great saints, hopefully, in the Vedic way of life at least. And then also how, a king should be excused for his actions in many ways. Like, for instance, it's already, it's obvious, if I were to kidnap somebody, I would get in trouble. But, the President of the United States sets up a kidnapping of the Venezuelan president, and now the world leaders are debating, all right, should he have done that? Should we punish him? No, we can't punish him. And so now they're like this, because he has like a kingly position. So you have to be careful, in this. And now I think he wants to seize Greenland, and now and he's punishing Europe for not allowing him to take Greenland. And so for whatever reason, but the whole world is not ready to go turn against him, But anyhow, even Prabhupada is saying, even if one does do wrong in that position, they don't have the same, punishment. just due to their kingly status. Like a doctor, if he's a surgeon and he commits malpractice, he's not going to get sentenced to death. He'll get a punishment, but he's not going to get sentenced to death, at least with an honest mistake. He will get punished. He might get his license removed, but he's not going to get punished to death for murdering or something, even if someone dies. So similarly, if a king does something and he didn't do anything very serious, you don't punish a king like this. So anyway, that's more of from a government standpoint. This teaching is there. We don't have the power to punish kings in the first place, or even punish anyone. But yeah, we can look at this and see what an ideal society looks like. Just as not Brahminical activity to take revenge, to be vengeful. On one level, we should not allow for the blasphemy of devotees. Like when David came here and yelled at Madhav and disturbed, we were all a little disturbed by the way he yelled at him, but because it wasn't so serious an offense, we could go any further. We just went and picked up and did what he asked. And look, Krishna did it for us.
I almost said something to him.
Yeah.
But I decided to play out and see what happens.
Yeah, just let the.
Also asked me, like, should I go say something to him? I was like, no.
Yeah.
Well, it's beyond more him being a devotee, he's my son as well.
Yeah.
I felt.
Well, I mean, just the whole thing was inappropriate. Like to go to someone's home and just like
bang on the door like.
And then like curse and like yell at them was insane.
Yeah, but just see, we decided, you know what, just tolerate and just go, remedy the situation, and we all decided not to say anything, and Krishna took it in his own hands. He caused some fall or something to happen in his life, and now he's hobbling, and I bet you he's thinking about it. If not, I hope he's thinking about, you know what, I shouldn't have, just like anything that goes wrong in anyone's life, we should see, what can I learn from this?
So many people blame someone or something else.
Yeah.
For any of their ills or.
Yeah, but I think because he's offending the devotees, he's going to get Krishna's special mercy, because he also, he showed some kindness to Abhiram in the past, and my wife and I. So we'll see what happens with David. Maybe, who knows? He might be one of our he might be in Bhagavatam class one of these 2 years down the road.
Quickly, I'd be nice to go, well, while you're waiting for us to get the ice, why don't you come in and get something to eat?
Yeah, so, well, I wasn't ready to invite him after he yelled at Madhav like that, but it would be nice in the future if he joins for Bhagavatam class and he gets some prasad. But anyhow, we shouldn't be vengeful, especially Prabhupada. I know we all have different natures, and one may say I have a Shudra nature, I have a Vaishya nature, maybe I have a Kshatriya nature. But Prabhupada really, what he wants from all the devotees is to become Vaishnavas, which are even, actually higher than Brahmins. And then even, if one practices Vaishnavism sincerely, especially in this Krishna consciousness movement, one will be called even to act as a Brahmin. A Brahmana or a Brahmani. So, but in that, if we are to actually truly be Brahminical, we cannot act like Shringi, where we become very vengeful and proud of our position, and we should always remain humble and forgiving and tolerant. We chant Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smarnena Kala Nita Dushitava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Dordaiva Midashami Hajani Naragaha. Basically means that Krishna is giving all of himself in the holy name. Everything is there. No hard fast rules for chanting and no special time. You can do it anywhere, and just by chanting Krishna's name you can have all auspiciousness in your life. You can have Krishna in total in your life. And it's His great mercy upon us, but due to our offenses, we have no attraction for that at all. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, well, what's the solution? Trinada pisini chena, terora pisahishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadahari. And that solution is that we have to learn how to be more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, to remove our pride, and to learn how to respect all others. That's the remedy. If we can do those things, then Kirtaniya Sadahari. We can always chant the name of the Lord, and we'll actually have a real taste. Like Deepthi, you were saying yesterday, I'm not feeling the bhav. Bhav is very high. But we're not even feeling the taste.
Yeah.
We're not even feeling any taste for chanting the holy name. So how do you develop a taste? The only way that a taste can be developed is that you cultivate all of these qualities of complete humility, complete tolerance, complete pridelessness, and complete respect to others. And that can only be done by serving a personality who has those qualities. So this verse is also talking about the principle of Guru Nishtha. And then you have to become fixed in following that personality. And with someone who has all those qualities. And then maybe you yourself will cultivate those qualities. And then you'll actually have a taste for all of these things. But we, right now, we're all at different stages. But we should ideally be looking for that person with those qualities, and then recognizing those qualities in others and in the scriptures, and trying to ourselves take on some of those qualities, to be more tolerant, to be more humble, to be more, less proud, to be more respectful to others. And by doing like this, eventually, we actually will develop a taste for chanting the Lord's name and the Lord Himself and the great mercy He's giving. But right now, because of a lack of humility, a lack of tolerance, a lack of, an increase in pride, thinking oneself great, and a lack of respect unto others, we're suffering. We're very unfortunate, and because we're offensive. That's all. That's it. That's the only thing that makes one unfortunate. Is still the ignorance is there that they're offensive. But if one wants to become fortunate, then they have to meet a fortunate personality, become humble before that fortunate personality, and learn from that fortunate personality, and that person's mercy will make one fortunate. But the easiest thing to do, is chant the Lord's holy name. We sing Radha Krishna Bol, chant Radha Krishna, join our mission. That is all we beg of you. Chant, what is it? What is the next part? Chant and know.
Your spirit's all.
No, it's something with.
Just chant and no misfortune will not threaten you.
Yeah, that's the last part. But there's.
Says Bhakti Vinod, just
Yeah.
chant and know.
Yeah.
Misfortune will not threaten you.
Says Bhakti Vinod, just chant and know. Yes, misfortune cannot threaten you. But yeah, there's no misfortune to one who is taking the Lord's mercy in the holy name. But because we have no attraction to chanting the holy name, we're very unfortunate, actually. We don't. We will think of 10 million other things that are more important than to just sit down and chant the holy name. And it's all just due to our ignorance, actually. It's all just due to our ignorance. And but if we get some knowledge, we realize the vidya vadu jivanam, the wife and the life of knowledge of this chanting of the holy name. We won't prioritize other things, and we'll chant the holy name. And so, and we'll trust the Lord's mercy, and we'll get it too. But not easy. So Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So thank you guys for joining. I only have a few more weeks of some Bhagavatam classes before a little 5-week hiatus, so I'll miss you guys. And so Deepthi, thank you for coming. You're welcome to come anytime. Very sorry,
No, thank you for the class.
Yeah. I'm very sorry. Such an inappropriate, thing you had to hear. That's I thought maybe you were exaggerating a little bit until I heard it myself this morning, and then I became really disturbed. And I was just like, oh my God, that is horrible. So, anyhow, Hare Krishna.
We never know, like, you know, how this, as you're talking, like, you know, how these material things agitate us and makes us fall down very quickly.
Yes.
You know, we think we are good, but we have so many anarthas, like, you know, we don't know how to overcome them, and, you know, we lose in second, like, you know, Sringi.
Yes. And we can-
Instead of, like, consulting, and, you know, we act whimsically on our own.
Yeah.
So,
That's a great realization, and if you can somehow fight that urge to act whimsically, and you can consult with your seniors and Vaishnavas, and ideally a really high-class guru, then yeah, you'll be very good, well situated if you can develop that tendency, rather than just acting. Me too. So please pray I also can do. Well, that's very nice.
thank you so much.
No, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.